Hello, hello, hello. It's Friday. Let me get Isaias here. Hope everyone's doing well. Happy Friday.
Hello, hello. Hi, happy Friday.
Hey man, how you doing?
Everything good?
It's been so long since we've talked.
Yeah, has been, so long.
Oh. So, well, Jean did say he's not making it today, by the way.
Okay.
Hope everyone's doing well. Haven't got anybody in here yet. I haven't seen here. Oh, here's somebody. It's Tom.
Okay. Oh, Thomas is here.
Good morning.
Hey, hello, Thomas. How are you doing?
Doing good.
Awesome.
Can you believe it's Friday already?
Yeah, so quickly.
July's almost over. How is that possible?
Yeah, we're almost done. And I'm actually looking forward to the conference. So it looks like we're almost there, right? Yeah.
Awesome. 8 more days. A really good point, Isaias. Let me bring up my little tool here and change it to. So if you want to join this call, that's the link. But
It's what, a week away? Next
Saturday. Next Saturday. That's why I was like, what? Already? Yeah, that's how it works. It's interesting that I'm not seeing Guy in here already. He usually is really
now that
early.
he's on the hero list, sometimes he just joins that. But
right, yeah.
And by the way, I didn't follow up with it. Remember last week during the hero call, he proposed a question. It was asking about typing and objects, and it was what I was thinking is he just wanted the IntelliSense in studio, and so I showed him how to do that in just a private video I made for him. But that's what he was trying to do, was to just wasn't he was trying to peek inside of some object that
right. You know what? So it was a little bit difficult for him to explain what he really wanted, but what he wanted was either autocomplete or IntelliSense, which are the two things that you can do.
Well, and it's funny because was that last week or week before when we were looking at the scintilla control?
Yes.
I was having you explain to me the difference between autocomplete and IntelliSense.
Yes. I don't know if you want to
kind of thing.
Yeah. they do something similar, but they're not the same. If you want, I can just go ahead and kind of explain again.
So this just helps establish vocabulary so you can understand.
So that later on, when you're trying to explain yourself, we can really help you. But in general, here's the thing. When you are typing something, when you start typing, you get what is called autocomplete. It allows you to complete the message or the command that you're looking for. Now, after you hit tab, you get IntelliSense. And those are the two different, and let me try to do this. Allow me just 1 second. Let me go ahead and add the correct one, because this was a different script for version 2 actually. And what happens is this message box. This is
just for
right.
I know this doesn't matter, but it'll help people understand.
Right. So this box that is showing up down here is the autocomplete assistant that allows you to complete whatever you're typing. In this case, I want to finish off writing message box. So if I press tab, it helped me autocomplete that. But now when I start typing commands, now you see here at the top that now I have a different box. This one is the IntelliSense, which means it allows you not only to get a quick overview of what you can add in here or not. So this is text. Let's go ahead and add something. And now when you put your comma, it automatically highlights the next parameter where you're at, especially when you're typing very complex parameter options, you might lose track of where you are. So
you know what, Isaias, that is the one thing that Sight doesn't do that Studio and VS Code, I don't remember if that does it, but
they do, right. So now not only that, and I will show you the next part, which is the one that is awesome. So Now imagine that for the title, you're going to use another function. Now let's go ahead and use regex match. I'm auto-completing that. And now inside regex match, I get my IntelliSense. And I finish typing the options here, whatever it is, whatever I'm doing with regular expression match. But when I come out and I press the comma, now my options, so it depends on which function I'm at, that this IntelliSense, that's the problem, that's where the name comes in, is intelligent. It is intelligent sense of where you're at. So
not when I'm using it.
Right. So notice that if I move my caret, if I'm inside regular expression match, it tells me that I'm in the second one. And when I move the caret outside, it actually highlights where I'm at in message box.
And I don't think I was reading everyone in the chat here, but I don't think you also mentioned the coloring highlighting. That's the letter, is it?
Yeah, so the blue one is where you're at the moment. Yes.
No, but I'm saying the fact that you have different colors being applied to different words.
Oh, so that's the lexer. Yes.
Right.
So
which
that's the
I'm just saying is like that. Also, it's another thing that I kind of group it all together as IntelliSense.
In once, yeah, but no.
To understand the nuances.
Right. So the lexer is the one that adds different colors to different part of your code. And one part of the lexer is doing the autocomplete. Well, that's mainly the editor, but the IntelliSense is part of the lexer because the lexer is the one that gives context of where you're at the moment. So in this case, we are in the options, and the IntelliSense not only tells you that you're at the option, it gives you a little bit of a message down here about what you can add in this particular parameter, because that way I don't have to jump to the help file and try to get that. Now, part of this is that not all the lexers come with all that information. If I switch to the version 1 lexer, there's a lot of things that it helps me. So if I put message box now, message box, it gives me this, it types automatically a few things, but it doesn't give me like where I'm at and all those things. So the lexer is a little bit more simple than the other one. So it depends on the lexer for you to get all the options that you can have available.
And years ago, I wrote Finks, who's the author of the site for AutoHotkey, as to why I said, I think I understand why site for AutoHotkey can't do the lexer, I'm sorry, the command highlight parameter highlighting. And it's AutoHotkey because of how it's built with the commas, with commands versus in functions, and you can't really distinguish.
Really complex, yes.
Something I would show if you got a second is how to actually turn that off, because I've had a lot of people comment on my videos that they find it actually quite annoying sometimes. Most people like it, but there are some people. So I don't know if you want to show real quick how to, how you would turn that actually off.
Right. So what you're saying is that, and I understand this, as soon as you type a few letters, this box comes in. And sometimes, like, I don't want it. Yeah. So there are ways of turning that off.
Can I interject and say sometimes it covers up text that you're trying to type?
Yeah.
And that's the biggest. I'm using Studio. So, the box is really useful. I like it, but I'd like to have it, a bit to the left, a bit to the right, not right under the cursor.
I understand what you mean. Basically, if you go to if you are using VS Code, you can use Control comma to open your settings, or basically you can always use I usually go here, settings or configurations here. So you go to the left, click on the cog, go to settings. It should bring this view. There are thousands of options for each and every single one of your stuff. That's the reason why people like VS Code. You can modify almost anything, but it makes it hard to search for stuff. But if you go ahead here on the top and use IntelliSense, you can disable it for specific extensions. For example, if they give you the option, but also you can check what the editor suggests. You can suggest the classes, it can suggest colors, it can suggest files, folders, and keywords, which is, for example, message box is a keyword, the methods. And there's one part of it that people do not like, which is basically here, show words. What the editor does is whatever you have typed already on your code can be suggested to you again. And that gives you these long, big pieces of IntelliSense or autocomplete boxes. And you can actually disable that. You can disable the whole suggestion if you want. I think there is an option out there. So suggestions. So this is text editor suggestions. And you can either, oh, well, it seems to me that you can disable them one by one. So you can disable all of them, or, you know.
I think the main point, though, is it's highly dependent on your editor, right?
Yes. Well, in this case, yes. If it is in VS Code, you can do this here, but in other editors, you might need to check their settings or preferences and verify if they allow you to do that. But in VS Code, you just look for IntelliSense and you will be able to find out where to do it. Now, I just noticed that I could disable it for AHK++, which is the version 1, the Lexer for version 1. For the Lexer for version 2, doesn't give me an option to remove that. So I wouldn't be able to disable it there, but I can disable the whole editor suggestions one by one. I just remove them, and then I will not see that anymore. So, yeah.
I kind of want to show something real quick on my IDE thing that kind of relates to this.
Yeah.
So I agree with Guy. Like, I get kind of annoyed with that too. So for now, my IDE, I actually have it down here as its own little separate area. So you can start typing like message box, and it'll kind of do
and you will
same
see.
thing.
Oh, right. Yeah.
But,
so it would give you.
Yeah, but it's like out of the way. And then
Yeah.
you can click on it and it will kind of fill out these options for you, and you can replace them one by one.
Oh, that is awesome.
That is a nice way. Yeah.
Yeah, I plan to add a little bit more. So instead of clicking, I'm going to have like a hotkey that will, do that. I plan to kind of type information, but for now you can just type over here too.
And find it.
And it'll take you
to the documentation.
Yeah, it'll take you straight to the documentation.
Oh,
right now for
good.
version 1 only. Version 2, I plan to have added this week.
Right. That
Yeah,
looks awesome. If you're saying about a hotkey, let me suggest just use the tab. That if I'm pressing MSH and hit tab, it should just go ahead and autocomplete message box, because that's the way how most people are kind of used to. But yeah, it looks awesome, and actually that's a very nice idea, having the autocomplete, or at least the suggestion, to be in one specific way outside of the code for people who get annoyed by it. Yeah.
Well, I like it, but it just it obscures what I'm trying to type, and it's like So.
Yeah, I'm forced to hit escape. So I type half of it, it shows up. I hit escape. Keep typing, and then I hit tab to autocomplete. It's annoying. I get what you mean.
And I plan to add a setting where you can switch back and forth between having it that way or how you just showed us. That way you can pick and choose which way.
Yeah.
Are you guys all touch typists?
With 2 fingers, yes. I touch with 2 fingers.
It's never an issue for me, and I'm wondering why. And it's because I don't look at what I'm typing.
That's right.
I mean, I'm just typing, right? I'm not looking at what I'm
50-50.
Okay. Yeah, that's why I was curious. Yeah.
It might happen. No, but sometimes the drop down goes down. And so I'm typing a message box or a command that is relying on a variable that I have down there, for example. So I'm typing, and below there is a variable that I'm going to put in here, but I have to type the command first. When I start typing, it hides the variable that I'm trying to type, and I'm like, oh God, yeah.
Studio offers up the variables when you start to type, so you don't have to see it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
exactly.
Like I said, I'm not saying one's better or worse. I'm just saying for me,
no. I know.
I've got a couple of observations and some help that you might be interested in as well. If I'm putting things in the list in there.
Go ahead. If there's nobody else with a question, I think.
Okay, this is a really simple one, and that is, how many of you know about the Microsoft phone link?
Yeah, I use it all the time.
Yeah,
yes.
Awesome. It's lovely. Now, I thought, okay, the program I'm writing to interface with my CRM. So I thought, wouldn't it be nice if I can dial out, not through a SIP dialer, but using my mobile phone? I thought that's the easiest way to do it. It won't let you.
No, it doesn't.
So I thought, okay, I'll be clever. So I went to the UI automation thing that you showed, and I thought I'll pop that up and I'll dial it manually. And guess what? At the moment the UI automation pops up, it disconnects the phone link.
Oh.
You can't do it. Yes.
Oh, that's interesting.
The moment you run Zoom, it disconnects the phone link. So you can't dial a call while you're on a Zoom call.
That is interesting.
So I thought, okay, I'll be clever. So I'll have to use manual clicks. So I know where the mouse is and I know where the numbers are, and I'll simulate user clicks. So if I size the window to a set size, I always know where the mouse is going to be.
Yes.
And then I go, okay, I know the coordinations of the keyboard. I go click, 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 click. That works. But if something like Zoom comes up, it disconnects the phone.
Right. So, and that's something
I don't have that problem, Guy. So what do you mean by?
Okay, shall I? Okay, let me.
It's going to have privileged information, so I don't think.
No, it's not. It's not.
Okay.
I've switched off all the privileged information stuff. Okay.
Right.
Always got to remind people.
Yeah, no. That's awesome. I mean, at the end of the day, as facilitator, that's Joe's job, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, so I'm sharing a screen. Can you see?
Yeah. So you have it like that, and you're supposed to be linked to your phone right now.
Okay. But now it's come on. It's now come on because I'm sharing the screen. When I wasn't sharing the screen, it disappeared. Okay. Let me launch the UI Automator bit. Accessibility. This one here. When I launch that, to think, oh, I want to have a look at my phone bit. Well, now that I'm in Zoom, it's letting me do it. It didn't let me do it when I wasn't in Zoom. So there's something weird going on there. So I made up a more manual way of doing it. I just said, so now that it's working, I'm surprised that it was working because before it wasn't. Every time I brought out the accessibility insights, it disconnected it. I didn't know if it was on purpose or not. Did you
download the inspect tool that I originally, before we found this one that I shared?
Okay.
The other inspect.
You don't have to do it now. I'm just asking if you downloaded it because you might try that one.
I have
the same issue with it disconnecting because
it doesn't sound like something
I thought Microsoft was being uber clever.
No. I don't see the reason why, because usually they get very clever when they have a reason why. Like I don't want them to connect with.
Skype, in order to mute the ringing, you have to be like a paying subscriber.
Yeah. So then again, they get really clever when they have a motivation, but I don't see any motivations of when you open Zoom, you cannot make phone calls on your phone.
Up until recently, you could only phone your contacts.
Yes. Okay.
I think that's changed now. You can phone anybody now. Is that correct?
Not sure.
What are you referring to?
The dialer, the phone link dialer.
Well, to phone link. Okay. I don't know what that. It might have to be in your contacts in order for you to dial. It's quite possible.
But I think now they've removed that.
Okay. So again, this is an app that is in active development. So they might be adding stuff incrementally, slowly. So probably recently you couldn't, but now you can. Is maybe just because
let's make this easy. When I use WinSpy, I can see that's called phone link. Yes. I can see that it's got an exe of that application frame host. But that's a weird.
Yeah, that's a generalized. Yeah, that's not. How
do I launch it?
No, you can't.
Programmatically.
You know what?
You can launch that executable with certain options, and probably it will launch the program that you're looking for. But just by launching that exe, you know what? There is a way for checking on that. You might want to open. I don't know if you have the task manager from Sysinternals.
No.
Okay.
Process Explorer, you mean?
Process Explorer. So Sysinternals is a suite of tools made by Microsoft employees, and one of them is called Process Explorer. Sysinternals. So just put Sysinternals, SYS. I think you're not typing. Yeah. So SYS internal. There you go. That's the one. And they have that's from Microsoft, but they have a suite of very interesting tools. If you can download just that one, it's okay. Just click on that one. And when you take a look at a program, it tells you also how it was launched, like the command line parameters that
we have a video on this. What were we working with, Ace? Do you recall? We were trying to figure out.
Yeah, that was the word com object, because the word com object.
No, there was one earlier that we recorded the video on it. I don't believe it was that. It was something else. Remember we were using it to test. Anyway, it's a different video.
Okay.
Trust me.
But I know that in that one, I did also mention it because the word processor shows up with the embedded kind of command line tool or whatever.
Right. Okay. So I've got it running. Here we go.
Right. So the point here, what you want to know is what the phone link. So look for the host, process host. What was it? How was it called? And here at the top, at the top right, you see one that says filter by name.
Yes.
You can just type the name in there, application frame host application. Just put application. Oh, it's not there. Oh, wow. I think you will have to launch Process Explorer with administrative rights to be able to see that executable. It's weird.
So there's Process Explorer. I've just installed it.
It's not installed. It doesn't have to be installed. Just double click on it.
Okay, fine. So if I'd like run as admin.
Right. It will ask you for permissions and it should run as admin. Try to... there it is. So you see that app right there. So if you just hover the mouse on it, it says embedding only.
Yes.
So it seems to be that particular application frame host.exe, I'm not really sure if it only uses... So hold on, let's do this. You see,
there's a path there. There's a path.
Right, but what I'm looking for is the PID. You see the PID is different. So here where you put app at the top right, just put the PID 28204 and see what happens there. 28204. Oh, it doesn't show up in there. That's interesting. Okay. Oh, no, hold on. 28204 is Process Explorer. You have to put your mouse on top of phone link to get the PID for it. 29076. Yeah, 29076. 29076. It doesn't show up in there. But yeah, so if you can just remove that from the search right now, just clear the search. And where it says PID, one of the columns says PID. Oh, there it is. Oh, yeah. So that's the one. Yeah.
That is a correct PID. That is a correct PID.
So yeah. So in general, it seems to be that's the name of the application. What happens if you run that application by itself? If you hover the mouse, you can see where it's located.
Yeah, I couldn't because I didn't know where it was. So now,
so if you hover the mouse, it says System 32 Application Framework. So that's where it's located at. You can just type that in the run.
So there is a command line option saying embedding.
Right. So
would this show me any program and show me all the command line options for any program?
No. So what it shows is how that program was launched. So it doesn't tell you what options are available, but rather how it was launched at the time of, at that time.
Okay.
So that's what it's saying.
So you can't, is there a go to open window?
Bring to front. Yeah.
No, I can bring it to front. That's not a problem, but I want to open it in Explorer.
Not exactly. Just click on properties, probably. Click on properties at the bottom. Gives you a list of things.
Oh, here we go.
That's cool. You can explore it there. It would take you to the folder directly.
So if I make a normal shortcut for it, create shortcut on desktop.
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, I've just created.
I cannot guarantee that that's what it will do, but yeah, you can try.
Let me shut that down and let's run the shortcut
Worth a shot.
Yeah. Okay.
Some guy in Joe's chat was saying that you can just do it from Task Manager also without downloading anything.
A lot of the stuff in the newer Task Manager compared to the older one. Yeah.
Okay. So there's a few things that you can see.
Nothing's happened.
I'm saying, like, I really doubt that you can really run that like that, because that is it's not about administrator. I don't think it's that. It's the way how it's launched. So application frame host, the name of the executable already implies that it's not a program that actually hosts another program. So probably so if you go ahead and open your phone link, where's your phone link app? Where's your?
So my Task Manager, there it is there.
So right click on that and click on properties.
Try that.
Settings.
The properties don't exist. Settings.
No, settings. Oh, okay. It doesn't have properties. So you cannot really see how it was launched or okay.
Yeah. The only way I can do it is, the annoying thing is, the only way I can do it is I think I can put it on is do an image search on the taskbar and click on the icon with that AutoHotkey.
No. Actually, you know what? Maybe Joe might have an idea on this. Let me point you. Probably, Joe. You remember when you were checking how to find Windows apps? Because this is not a program. This is an app, right?
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say was QAP. Jean has built in launching the newer Windows 10 apps.
Right, because
this is a much simpler way of like, oh my God, like I don't have to figure this out. Because there's a couple posts in the forum talking about it. It's crazy complicated. Like they give you this unique ID, on your computer that you can use it. But yeah, I was looking though. I didn't see anything that looked like Phone Link or Your Phone, which is what it used to be called, which was the worst name in the world.
So where's John when you need him?
He's actually out today. He said he wasn't.
There you go. But that's what is going on. This is not really a program that is installed somewhere. This is a Windows app, and those work really differently than a normal.
Yeah, I would look at even like this. It might be a system. What's it called? Yeah, system. And when you look into your startup system things options.
Yeah, it's a startup. Yeah, startup option. Is that what you mean?
So I think
services, a service.
Service. Thank you.
Yeah, it's probably a service. Yeah.
So, but here's the thing, Guy. Let me help understand this. The reason why you cared about that is maybe you were hoping you could pass a parameter like a phone number to it when you launch it. Okay, yeah, because and what I would do is see, like a year and a half ago when Your Phone first came out, I kept trying to see if there was a COM object, any sort of object.
Exactly,
whatever.
There wasn't. They blocked it.
See, I don't know about that, but they had such a ridiculous name at the time, you couldn't freaking search for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because
your phone, like it's so stupid, right? Yeah. Now, Phone Link, maybe, and maybe
it's
you're right.
The Microsoft Phone Link now.
Yeah, I'm just saying now, at least it's got a better name that might
for us to be able to search for stuff.
I was trying to learn Python and R, and I would be trying to search for code in R, and you're like, try to search for code in R. You got the letter R, right? Like,
it's really
ridiculous.
Yeah.
But
so I think so. John, or was it Jean? Has the secret of how to launch this app.
Well, he might have information on how to do that.
Launch Windows 10 apps. I can say that built into his tool.
Yeah.
However, like I said, I didn't recognize it because let me share my screen and show people. So share, yes. So I'm gonna not stare at myself. That's not what I was doing, by the way.
Aren't I pretty?
Exactly. Yeah. I was telling my son, I go take pictures of my food when I go to these local restaurants and I post them. And I said, you know why I'm doing this, right? And he goes, yeah, you're trying to help the business. I'm like, yeah, it's not because I want to tell everyone
what I ate. Exactly.
So add, and here we're going to say Windows app. So see how Windows app is a thing?
Yeah. You continue. And
I would give it a name, but here's the drop down, right? Here's where you can look through and see the things that you can
the current list of Windows apps.
Is your, I mean, do you have Phone Link? And can you find it? Can you find it in our list?
No, well, that's what I'm saying is
probably just has the ID, like that one in there might be one of those.
Right. I don't see it in the list is what I was saying.
Right. Maybe what you're looking at is the ID.
Yeah, right.
So you see at the top that you have some of them that don't have a name.
Yes, they just have a number.
They have a number. Maybe it's one of those.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it's interesting.
it might be one of those that doesn't have.
See these, this ID here, like
Right.
that. If I remember right, that's what Jean. You get a value like that, which will return the like pretty name, but that is what you end up using. Now, this is a while ago. I read the post in the forum, but if you go look it up, someone was saying, "How do I pass a parameter to this thing?" And I don't think.
Well, let's put it
someone
this way.
chimed in, and it was like, "Hey, here's what you have to do," but it was insane. And I'm like, I'm just going to use QAP to launch the damn thing and forget about it.
Well, I think you're right, but it's sometimes dirty. We talked about how long to spend trying to do something. Right. And the moment, and so just being dirty sometimes, it's not elegant, but it works, you know. So rather than using, a pin, you're using a sledgehammer. But just to pop up the screen and tap the locations of the keys, you've just got to lock the screen to a set size. So if the resolution changes, it's always going to be the same the same coordinates, Now, I've just brought up my task manager just as an instance. And by the way, if someone has something really, really important, let them know. I'm just going to share my screen again. Can you see a white screen now? Can you see the top left has task manager? Yes. It's got phone link. It's got runtime broker. It's got your phone server. Exactly. Can you help at all? Yeah.
That's different on that? So let me double check something. Hold on. And by the way, before we continue on this, is there anybody else has any other questions? Because
that's why
we're taking a lot of time on this one. But
on my side.
Okay. But this is interesting.
I have, by the way, found PhoneLink to be a pretty decent tool, by the way, for
Now I would like you, Guy, to on your screen on the Process Explorer, try to find for your phone.exe. So not on the task manager here, but go to the Process Explorer, because this was interesting now.
Process Explorer.
The one that I showed you a few minutes ago. Yeah.
I've just got to remember. I put it on the desktop.
Yeah, you did.
By the way, I found everything to be so useful. The search, everything. Absolutely incredible. So I've got Process Explorer.
Run
as administrator. Right, got it.
And let's search for your phone instead of what we were looking at. So your phone. There it is. You see your phone? Just hover your mouse on top of that, and you will see a very interesting location. Program files, Windows apps, microphone your phone, and then it gives you your phone X. And these are the parameters passed to it, the -s server name, and it gives you a server name that was launched with it, which is the other executable that was
so
sent.
if I do a command line with that context, it should
so just right click on it on your phone, so that one.
Yeah.
Copy, properties, sorry. And just copy that where it says command line, just copy that where it says command line. Yeah, copy the whole thing. No, the one.
Sorry. There it is. Okay, there.
Yeah, that
Control
one.
A.
Right,
Control
copy
C.
that. Now, you should be able to use the run command in AutoHotkey with that, and it should work. That's the idea.
If I close the application and just bring up a command window.
Right, yeah.
And just paste it in.
Hold on, you're missing a...
Okay, hang on. I've brought up the wrong command line.
Have you?
Yeah, it's specific. No, I've got to bring it up as an administrator command line, haven't I?
Not really sure if you need to, but yeah, maybe.
Yeah, so there's an administrative command line. Now, I don't need the commas.
Just paste and enter. No. Yeah, you do need them. Yeah, you need those. Okay, so it's gonna tell you that because, hold on, you're running that in a very specific way. How about if you remove the last part? So click OK, remove the -s with the server and stuff, because it is trying to load some executables that cannot find, some DLLs, but that's because it is expecting that from the server. So just keep going. Yeah, just do that. Let's see what happens. Yeah, it cannot be loaded that way. Has to be loaded in a very specific environment. How about, let me see. And I see that the server is running, by the way. I see that the server is running there.
What I'm going to do, I'm going to give you control. So
no, but in general, I really doubt that. Oh, I cannot touch the administrator's command prompt.
Okay,
can you minimize that?
You want me to minimize it? That's fine.
Yeah. Right. So what happens is, and I cannot actually use that other program either because it's in administrator. So probably the way how the you see the command line.
Yeah.
At the bottom it says current directory, right?
Yes. You
have to use that as the context of that program. So probably if you open that location first, just open the location, right? From there, run the other one, like that other thing, I think.
Oops,
that
now
might, so in the context of that location, I don't know if that would work. Nah. So in general, there is something, what happens is it needs, and this is what we were talking about. This is a Windows app. They're different than normal apps. And it seems to be that apps, when they're launched in a specific environment, which has all the DLLs that they need.
Yes.
And then launch the app. So
the question for you is, would this be different in every machine?
Yes, those IDs that you see there, those strings at the end, I would assume that they changed based on the machine.
So the bottom line is, if I move it to a different machine, then all this will be useless because I'll have to start all over again. Yes, Thomas, I am trying to launch the program so I can use it.
Here, let me share my screen real quick.
Absolutely.
And he's trying to launch it in AutoHotkey. So if you have a way to launch it directly in AutoHotkey, that would be.
Yeah.
I've learned so much by talking to you guys, even though, so I think this is as a learning exercise, these meetings.
Yeah, like even if we don't solve the issue, right?
Yes. Yeah.
You at least get to see a few tools and stuff that we.
Thomas, can you maximize so the text is a bit bigger, please?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so you're passing the Explorer.
And it launched.
So yeah, so this is how you're actually launching it. Okay. That's a nice one. So it looks like the
Can you
app
put that in
itself,
the chat, please, Tom?
Right. So it looks like the app itself cannot be launched by itself without an environment.
Like
and what you're
else did.
So it looks
the exact same thing I do. Yeah.
So he's actually passing it as he's passing the app as a shell to the Explorer executable, which is the one that has the context for that app. Now, what I do not know is if that
code
ID the ID that he has at the end, I don't know if that ID is for the app, and that means that it doesn't matter.
It works. Yay. Thank you, Thomas.
Okay, there you go. So that ID is just for the app, not for the computer.
Yeah. So that's what I've been trying. Thomas, thank you very much.
There you go.
Now
it works in AHK too.
Now, and here's a question for you. How would I put it in AHK? Is it just run explorer.exe shell?
Exactly. You just did that.
Fine. Whew.
That's the line of code right there in the chat.
Right. Yeah, that's the one for AutoHotkey.
I'm excited. Thank you.
But basically, you see, this is the good thing about having this type of communities is because even though I did not have the answer because I've never actually worked with apps, somebody else has it, and now I learned something too, because now I know, and I would say it might be similar to all Windows apps. You just have to figure out the string.
Where the apps folder is. And
the string for the app, because your app has a very special string.
Yes.
And it looks like the ID is for that app, not for the computer. So it's the same string for all of them.
How would I find if that file exists, if the app actually exists so I can run it?
Again, you see on the task, the Process Explorer, it showed you a path, right? It said program files, Windows apps, right?
Yes.
So if you go to that location and try to find for that folder, if it is not there, then don't run it. I would say that.
I'm sorted. Yeah.
The other thing, Guy, I just remembered, I did look because I use it sometimes when I'm texting, although I sent out a message earlier that I created a Telegram group for the heroes. The great thing about Telegram, like this messaging app, sometimes people message you, you don't get the response. It doesn't show up in phone link. And it's so one of the little things I don't like about it is like often when you're sending, it will work. Sometimes it doesn't get sent. Usually it does.
But when you receive,
often when you're receiving, you may miss stuff. It's on your phone. Don't get me wrong. It's just it doesn't get notified here. Telegram, it works great no matter what.
Yeah.
Well, I'm using it mainly for telephony and maybe SMS. So
well, let me finish where I was talking about. So when I was trying to automate phone link with the UI automation approach type stuff, depending on the windows and stuff, and the person and everything, the actual like path to where where you would put in the message to text was changing all the time. It was ridiculous.
Oh wow. Okay.
It was not
a
it was indexed like, oh, if you're on this person and you have 3 messages versus this one, there's none in front of them. It just wasn't. It
was not something stable. It was not like a specific location, right?
At least on the little bit I did. And I said, you know what? I'll just make everyone install Telegram and not worry about it because you can automate with now. Actually, Zayas, do you know? Can you make phone calls from Telegram?
Yeah, sure. And the reason why Telegram is kind of like we're mentioning over and over again, we are the Automator. We automate stuff. Telegram is one of the only applications that has a whole API and you can create bots. So they support it and encourage it. So basically, Telegram is, you can automate 100% of it. And they have APIs for it, which is great. It makes you, now, the only problem is in your case, you can make phone calls with Telegram, but I assume it's only in the Telegram network.
Yes.
It's like making a WhatsApp call, but what you're trying to do is actually making a call outside of the network. So a normal call, right? Yep. So that's something different. I don't think I haven't actually.
We can have a big conversation about Telegram. I mean, it was succeeded on the rebellion of people not liking WhatsApp being taken over by Facebook, I believe. But my target audience, the people I'm communicating with in my photography business, tend to be from their late 20s to their kind of 50s and 60s. Telegram is not a big thing in their life. They're lucky if they've got WhatsApp, so WhatsApp everyone's got, even the younger people are walking away from Facebook and Messenger and they're more kind of Instagram and that kind of stuff. So I'm looking, there's so many platforms out there. There's no way I can automate for all of them. I'm just looking for the common denominator. And I think for me, SMS, telephone,
SMS and WhatsApp. Yeah. And let me make a parenthesis here. In this side of the world, WhatsApp is the main one. But if you just move a little bit over to Europe, nobody in Europe knows what WhatsApp is. And I'm like, how does that work? Yeah, well, because we're so used to it that we think it's the norm, but it so just happens.
What do they use?
Telegram.
Oh, Telegram. Okay.
So Telegram and WhatsApp are basically the same thing. The only thing is that Telegram is open source and has you can modify it however you want and doesn't have restrictions. WhatsApp is the same thing, but with a lot of restrictions and is closed source. Basically, that's the main difference between them. But the other difference is when you go to America, everybody has WhatsApp. Nobody knows what Telegram is. When you go to the other side of the pond, then everybody knows what Telegram is. Nobody knows what WhatsApp is. It's weird, actually.
Okay. Well, in the UK, for me, it's WhatsApp. So yes, awesome. So I'm just playing around with you know, when I got time to kill, I do my coding as a hobby. As you know, my main business is the photography. And I thought, wouldn't it be fun to give this one a go? And it's just, again, I've met a totally new concept of apps rather than programs. And
yeah, that is something new in AutoHotkey. Well, sorry, in Windows, and that is something that I do not have much experience in them, but that's basically the feature. Actually, one of the things that Lexicos mentioned is that you would be able to connect to this environment and create GUIs that resemble the new Windows 10 UI, right? Yes. And that is some of his future plans by some time. But yeah, he was talking about those kind of things.
Is there a timescale for that, or is it just
no? Oh, you forget about it. If you're talking about Lexicos, there is no timescale on that one. Like that's just something that is on his mind, but we never know when that might be.
Yeah. So I mean, I love what he's done so far. It's helped so much, you know. So going from this, someone else has a question, I believe. Someone else has a question, I believe.
I just want to remind everyone, AHKCon is not tomorrow, but next week. So if you haven't signed up, if you're interested, sign up. Put the link in the chat.
Yep.
Again, I'll keep on asking questions if no one else has a question. You know,
I would like to mention something. It's not really a question, but it's something that for people, if you are testing AutoHotkey version 2. There's something interesting. And when I saw that one, I was like, why don't we have that in version 1? Like, I want that. And one of the things is just something real quick. We are dubbing it the maybe operator. So basically, I don't know if you have done this in AutoHotkey version 1. You have a variable that you want to verify if that variable has something in it. If it has something, you want to use it. If not, you want to put a default value on it. Have you done this before?
Isn't it try?
So no, but beside try, but let's say that it's a variable that might contain something. So it's a variable that has been set already at some point. So it has been set either by a loop or something. And sometimes you want to verify if that variable contains something. If it does, you want to use it. If it doesn't, you want to set some default value.
Correct.
For example, have you done this before?
I've tried to, and what I've tried to do is I wanted to know if it was true, false, or unset, which is similar to this.
That's different. Yeah, right. So that is different. Now, what happens is, notice that you have to put the variable 2 times.
Right. Yes.
If it is there, you have to put it again, right?
Yeah.
So in version 2, there is a new operator, which is the maybe operator, that allows you to remove this last one.
Okay.
So that would be like this. So you would say, is the variable set? If it is, use it. If not, use the default.
Okay, so it's a syntax thing rather than a functionality thing.
Right, it is a syntax thing, because the problem is, and it's very good that you actually made this distinction between something that is set and something that is false, because this variable right now is set to nothing. That's what happens. So it is already set to nothing.
It would come up as, if you say as Boolean, that will come up as false.
Right, but it is set. It has a value on it. Now, here's the that's the reason why I want to make that distinction, because this maybe operand is checking whether the variable is set or not. So check this out. If I am going to run the code right now,
can you put it back into the version 1 because of syntax?
Right, in syntax, it would be like this. So basically in version 1, no, it's okay. But here's the thing. They mean something different. So let's go ahead and show you this.
Instead of changing it, and then you can leave the original.
All right. So let me just do this. Let me just copy this, comment it out, and say message box. And you will notice the difference between them. So variable is empty.
Correct.
And I'm saying variable is set, or is variable empty. What do you think is going to happen right now? What is your intuition?
I got a clue because I know this
Right.
is something new.
Right now I'm checking if that is true or false. So it is false, is going to show up default.
Okay.
So let me force the expression.
Yeah.
That should show default, right?
Yes.
So this question mark checks whether it is true or false.
Correct.
If it is true, it will do one. If it is false, it will do the other.
What
Now,
happens if it's neither because it's not been set?
So right, if it is right. So right now, if I do that, it would also come up as default.
Correct. Yes.
Right.
That's
Fine.
what I would expect. Yes.
Right. Now, in version 2, you can still, let me just comment this out. In version 2, let's go ahead and put version 2 now. You can do the same thing as before, which is if the variable is set, but remember that in version 2, that would lead to an error because that variable hasn't been set.
Yeah.
So what you have to ask is set, right? That's what you have to ask. If it is set, use it. If not, use default. That would bring me the default. Okay. But notice how long it is. So the whole thing, I just go ahead and make it like this. That should do the same. Now, right now, it should come up as default. There you go. But you have to keep in mind that if you set the variable to blank, it would actually return blank because the variable is set to blank.
So how can you achieve the same result in version 1, or can you?
No, in this case, if you want to do this, if you want that to show default, you would have to use the normal ternary operator. Which
what
means,
I'm saying is, I want to, if it's not been set as false and it's not been set as true, I want to find out if that's the case.
Oh, you mean in version 1?
Version 1, yes.
Oh, no, in version 1, you don't have that. You can try it. You can try the variable.
There's no is set command in
I don't think so, unless they have ported. I don't think they have ported that back to version 1 yet. Let me see. Is set? No, you have no way to check whether a variable has been set or not. And that's the reason why many people are saying like it is better version 2, because those kind of nuances. Yes. One thing is to be set, another one is to have a blank value.
I came across that
nuance. You cannot. Yeah, in version 1, you cannot do anything about it. You either have to try it. You have to say try that. So you have to try whether variable 1, then catch it. If you catch an error, then you set var to default. That's what you have to say. Which makes no sense whatsoever. That's a lot of code for something that is not. But the problem is because AutoHotkey version 1, you cannot definitely tell whether a variable was set or not, because in AutoHotkey version 1, being blank is the same as being on set. In version 2, we do make the distinction, and as you just said, in your code, it came up recently. And yeah, trust me, when you're coding a lot, that's going to come up a lot of times. One thing is that you want to verify if it is empty, which is blank, blank, or whether it has been set or not. And that's something different. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of like share that.
Awesome. Thank you for that. That was absolutely fabulous.
Yeah. Someone just mentioned what were you referring to when you said it depends when Lexicos will get around adding it or not? What was the topic you were talking about?
We were talking about some changes to the GUI interface that he's planning. So one of the things in one of the forums, he mentions that at some point, re-overwrite or revamping of the GUI to be the modern GUIs is a good thing to do.
And were you referring to version 1 or version 2? Or
no, he's forget about version 1. Everything he's doing, it would be for the new. Yeah, so it would be always for version 2. Lexicos, okay, so this is clear. Lexicos doesn't care that much about version 1. Everything he's doing is for version 2, and that's the only thing he's working with. There's some porting of certain things back to version 1, but it's not because he wants to. People actually, I think G Suite goes ahead and says, I ported this to version 1, and he decides whether it's enough to port it back. But any new development, I don't think he's ever going to do it for version 1. It's just version 2.
As a newbie, my opinion is the version 2 is more complicated unless you're a full-time programmer. Now, as much as I like the idea that version 2 will give me more ability, what are your thoughts about, will I have to learn how to program properly? Because my programming experience started with the Visual Basic and the ZX80. So I'm in that mindset. I've not had and degree in computing from a university. So what are your thoughts about my skill levels and
well,
that? Because other people have the same question.
I'm just gonna say the same as usual. So basically, you say that you feel that AutoHotkey version 2 is more complicated.
I don't know. I've not experienced it properly.
No. So I would just kind of clarify that. It's not more complicated. It's basically the same. The only thing is that it's more strict, which means that it allows less room for errors, because it will notify you. It will notify you that you made an error. So it will tell you, hey, this variable, you haven't assigned a value to it ever. Do you want to really continue? Some people find that annoying. It's
annoying, but here's the but. It's not like you're learning, you know English, you got to learn French.
Right. No, no. It's basically most of the things that you do, they look exactly the same. There are a few new details like that, maybe operand that I was just talking about, but usually those new things help you in your coding. That's basically it. But if you're just changing a file name, if you're just looping through files, adding some things to some files, if you're just doing basic operations, there is no need for you to switch to version 2.
Yeah.
But as you just said, in your code, you started having issues whether the variable is set or not set.
Yeah, I need a tri-state variable, not a binary variable.
Then AutoHotkey version 1 is not for you, because our AutoHotkey version 1 doesn't care about that.
Yeah.
Sorry, I disagree on that. Why wouldn't you just put 1, 2, or 3? I don't understand.
I could, but I'm trying to be clever and use the facilities that I have there, rather than just build my own function.
Okay, no, that's okay. In your case, that's your case. But let me tell Joe, when would that happen? For example, I have a loop. That that you have loop until.
Here's the thing: we're out of time, as this. We
got right, yeah, okay.
Because we're going to jump to the hero thing, but you've been a long explanation for you. What I want to say is for non-programmers, like for me, I honestly, Guy, like I don't know if and / when I'll switch, because it just the version 1, there's not a ton of new functionality. Now, if you're creating GUIs, I totally get if you're doing a lot of GUIs. Version 2, I think, is much clearer and simpler, right, and easier. If you're not doing GUIs, it's I'm like, I don't see the big benefit of switching, right? But I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying.
No, and basically that's exactly how I just started.
A programmer, and he's like, to him, it's nothing, right? It's like the other day, him and I were talking about DLL calls, and he's like, like they're not simple. They're simple for you because you understand them, right?
No, but basically that's how I started off my explanation. Like, if you're just fixing files, doing basic stuff, you don't need version 2. It's just when you start pushing the limits of version 1, and you will find them, you will start asking those questions like, how do I know when a variable is unset? AutoHotkey is not going to let you know.
Other dimensions as well. Is right now there's a plethora of version 1 code out there, right? And not a lot of version 2. However, you, Zace and I both know, there's a lot of new functionality that's only available in version 2.
Yes.
Right. And so
and basically most of the new functionality is going to be set over there.
Right.
So the last thing T was saying, that there might actually be a way to differentiate unset variables so he said, like, it remains the same across all runs. So what he's saying, well, trying to get the address of a variable, that's a very interesting hack. So what he's doing is just sending a message box instead of the variable itself, trying to pass the address, and that should give an error. So let me set it. It should give me a number, but that number, he says that is the same all the time. So that means that this variable doesn't have an address, and the address assigned to it is this number. I'm not really sure if that's a good idea, but that's kind of like a hacky way to get it. But That leads to other issues that maybe we will discuss in another moment when we have a little bit more time. But basically, that's a good way, well, at least in this instance, of checking if it was set or not set.
All right, well, we're out of time, unfortunately. For the
Yeah.
heroes that are here, you can, the link to go to for our Zoom meeting. But thank you all. Again, sign up for HKCon, even if you can't make it. That way you get the links to the recordings and everything later on.
That's right.
Cheers,
Bye.
everyone.